This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Man dies after being hit by taxi in Trelawny. A man died in Trelawny today after being hit by a taxi in the vicinity of the Robbery overpass. The deceased has been identified by his alias Akiman. The incident happened around 11:30 a.m. It is reported that the deceased was walking along Market Street in Falmouth when he was hit by the taxi, which was heading south. The injured man was assisted to the hospital by the police. He subsequently succumbed. His death brings to fore the number of persons who have died in Trelawny in road crashes since last Wednesday. St. Andrew businesswoman charged after alleged cocaine seizure at airport. A St. Andrew businesswoman is to face the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Wednesday on allegations of concealing cocaine on her body and attempting to board a flight to the United States. Tashika Grant, 30, of Worthington Terrace, is charged with possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, attempting to export cocaine, and a conspiracy to export the cocaine. The police say the cocaine weighs approximately 1.05 kilograms and has an estimated street value of US $30,000. They say Grant was nabbed last Thursday while at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. The police report that she arrived at the airport and checked in to board a flight to Fort Lauderdale. During routine security checks, it was discovered that Grant had several packages of cocaine concealed on her body, according to the police. She was taken into custody. She was subsequently charged following a question and answer interview in the presence of her attorney. Music video director Lomba dies suddenly at UHWI. The dancehall music fraternity is mourning the sudden death of popular music video director Tevin Lomba Taylor of Black Road Media Films. Taylor suddenly died on Sunday morning after falling sick only hours before. Right now, this is a big personal tragedy for me. This is one of my favorite cousins, and to know say him just gone, so it's hard to deal with. May not even call me auntie yet because I don't even know what I'm going to say to her. Dancehall artist Miguel Wealthy, a cousin of the deceased, told the news. According to reports, Lomba had ordered the chicken from a popular jerk center vendor in St. Andrew. He reportedly fell sick hours later. He allegedly experienced diarrhea and vomiting and was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital. The doctors made a referral for him to be transferred to the University Hospital of the West Indies. Lomba reportedly suffered a cardiac arrest while at the UHWI and died about 3 o'clock on Sunday morning. Me really caught up and this shake up a lot of artists because he shot a lot of great videos for them, Miguel Wealthy said. Lomba would have been 29 years old next month. He shot videos for songs such as Freaky Girl, Caution and Bubble for Miguel Wealthy. This is a great loss for the music industry, Miguel Wealthy said. Lomba also shot music videos for singles such as Nation Boss, Solidarity and a Dream, Pain for Silk Boss, Love Shoot for Skelly Bang, Feel Secure by Cash, and Garrison Above for Chronic Law. Duo charged with the murder of Jamaican-born TSA worker in Brooklyn. Police in New York have charged a man and a woman with the shooting death of Jamaican-born Donovan Davey in East Flatbush in Brooklyn in May. Richard Barrett, 34, and Irene Brown, 31, were apprehended on Thursday after members of the Regional Task Force spotted them driving a car on southbound FDR Drive. They were subsequently charged with a second-degree murder, with Barrett facing an additional charge of criminal possession of a weapon, according to media reports. Both are reportedly acquaintances of Davey. The 45-year-old was having a phone conversation with his sister while walking to his mother's house in the East Flatbush area of Brooklyn on Sunday, May 22. Davey, a federal security officer with the Transportation Security Administration, was assigned duties at the John F. Kennedy International Airport in Queens. He worked with the TSA for 17 years. The Jamaican's attackers allegedly surprised him and shot him in the neck and right leg. He later died at hospital. A motive for Davis' killing remains unknown. Education Minister to meet with bursars this week. In a bid to stave off possible strike action by school bursars, the Ministry of Education has agreed to meet with the bursars and their union this week. The National Workers' Union (NWU), which represents the bursars, had written a letter to Education Minister Favour Williams seeking a meeting to discuss the government's decision to phase out the system whereby teachers are paid through the bursar school system. General Secretary of the NWU, Granville Valentine, told the news that the meeting is scheduled for Tuesday. He warned that the dispute could end up before the Ministry of Labour. Members of the Bursars Association of Jamaica have been up in arms over the decision to reduce their responsibilities at the bursar-paid schools. They said they were surprised by the minister's announcement. However, Education Minister Favour Williams insists that bursars were notified about the decision to move away from teachers being paid by bursars and have educators receive their salaries directly from the ministry prior to her making the announcement. Government performance described as average, says RGR Gleaner poll. The latest RGR Communications Group commissioned poll by Don Anderson has found that most Jamaicans remain lukewarm about the performance of the government led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The poll results coincided with the 2-year anniversary of the government's victory at the last general election. The poll found that 37% of respondents deemed the government's performance as average. 33% of the respondents gave the administration an above-average score. 16% gave the government a poor rating, and 14% described its performance as very poor. Trenchtown tense following killing of 15-year-old. The West Kingston police have launched a manhunt for the suspect behind Friday's fatal shooting of a 15-year-old student in Trenchtown, Kingston. Nevada Maitland, a student at Tivoli Gardens High School, was shot dead along 4th Street Friday night. It is reported that the teenager was sitting along the sidewalk in his community with a friend when a lone gunman walked up and opened fire at them. The boy was shot in the head and pronounced dead on the scene. Head of the West Kingston Police, Senior Superintendent Michael Phipps, told the news that the police are now keeping a close watch on the area as individuals have threatened to exact revenge for the death of the 15-year-old. He said death threats have been issued on the lives of the relatives of the suspect behind the shooting. SSB Phipps said the mother, father, and the siblings of the individual were escorted out of the area and were taken to the Denhamtown police station, where they were offered a shelter. He has listed a man known as Desroy Walker, otherwise called Shamar, as a person of interest in the investigation. He's urging Mr. Walker to report to the Denhamtown police station by midday on Monday. SSB Phipps is urging residents to remain calm and allow the police to investigate the incident. Howard Cook Bridge in St. James reopens ahead of schedule. On the eve of the reopening of schools in Montego Bay, St. James, the National Works Agency surprised the town by completing works on the heavily used Howard Cook Bridge. The bridge was reopened before midday today, 3 weeks ahead of schedule. The double-strength concrete used by the contractors and the fast-curing additives added to the concrete mix are among the things being credited for shortening the work time. The project was planned for 6 weeks and started on Sunday, August 21, ending on or before the end of September. It is a heavily used corridor, and we anticipated that with the start of school, there would be quite a bit of congestion. NWA's Community Relations Officer for the Western Region, Janelle Ricketts, told the news. She said during the closure there was some congestion, which she said would have worsened with the reopening of school for the new academic year on Monday. The NWA pumped $6 million into the repair of the bridge, which was repaired by contractors J&L Equipment and Construction Services. Cub injured in St. Elizabeth robbery released from hospital. A St. Elizabeth police constable who was shot and injured during a robbery at a supermarket in Santa Cruz on Saturday night has been released from hospital. Reports suggest that sometime after 9 p.m., the policeman, who is assigned to the St. Elizabeth Quick Response Team, went to the supermarket when he was off duty and later left the establishment with an undetermined sum of cash. Further reports are that the 3 armed men ambushed the policeman as he entered his motor vehicle and a tussle ensued. It is reported that during the melee, the policeman was shot in the hand and his service weapon and the bag of money stolen. The injured policeman was taken to the hospital where he was treated and released. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.